So the first thing for men, how do we win? As Christian men, it's like we need to become strong and courageous and masterful at whatever your work is, whatever your domain you think God is calling you to. And by doing that, you can then look back and have a bunch of young ladies, hopefully, who are virtuous and pretty and helpful. And you need to marry one. You want to marry a young lady, and she'll become your helpmeet on your mission, on your work. And, be fruitful and multiply. Have as many children as God will give you. Praise God. And so that's number one way to win. The number two way to win is then, within that, you then don't want to farm your wife out to other men. You don't want to farm your wife out to go be a helpmeet to a corporation. Yeah. You don't want to farm your children out to go and be fathered by a bunch of crazy liberal school teachers who hate you and hate your God. Yeah. So you want your wife working for your mission. You want your wife working for your household. You want your children under your leadership, under your indoctrination, under your curriculum, And then the next kind of scale in that of how to win is local economy. So the first scale is patriarchal family. We want to build a patriarchal family. Every young guy should be, one of my chief purposes in life is to build a patriarchal family, to become a patriarch. Number two is to build my local economy. What really got me into this was Wendell Berry, the Kentucky author. He writes extensively on localism, but basically the love of your people and the love of your place. And the big idea here is that as Christians, we are to create an Eden in the chaos and the ruins of clown world. Where we live should be different. You look at like Baltimore and New York and LA. It's like, those are all like hellholes, Haiti, South Africa, name your hellhole. A hellhole is how it is because of its patriarchs, because of its men. The men of a place determine the environment of the place. Absolutely. And so we should be we should be the greatest determining factor on our land that we own. So your little plot of land, even if I'm renting right now, it's like, okay, I'm the steward of this little piece of land, our little neighborhood of 40 houses or whatever. I want to be a blessing and influence on this neighborhood. Yeah. Our town of 3,000 people that I live outside of, like, I want to be a influence on this town. And how do you do that? It's not by thoughts and prayers and yard signs. It's by business. Money is the number one influence in a local area's everything, politics, social life. For most people, you want your children to stay around you. How do you do that? Well, they need a job. Otherwise, they go off to the city to go find a job. So you don't keep your youngsters. You don't keep your generational growth. Most people want nice neighbors. Well, how do you have nice neighbors? They need to have nice jobs so that they can afford to not, the number one breakdown of marriages is financial problems. So if you don't want violent and poor neighbors, you need a local economy. So it's very important. How does a local economy work? Number one, we need to buy from each other. We need to shop from our neighbors, from our small town mom and pop shops, and not Walmart and Starbucks and McDonald's and Kroger. Of course, if you need to get something, like, don't be a legalist stupid about it. Like, sure, if you need something, go buy it. Yeah. But where you can, buy from your neighbors, buy from your town folk. Buy from your tribe. You guys in the bear community have it down pat. Like, buy from your people because you love your people. You want your people to be wealthy. You want your people to have success. So local economy is a huge thing, and this ties into the whole homesteading thing as well. Like, you want to try and grow your own food if you can. And if not, meet local farmers, go to the local farmers market and support those who do. Yeah, you want to be uncancelable. You want to be right now, the elites, the whatever your conception of the kind of financial elite or the cabal or the bankers or the politicians, whatever you want to call them, their whole war right now is against Christian middle class families. They are besieging. The lockdowns were a siege on Christian middle class families. Absolutely. How long can you survive a siege? That's what you need to be thinking of in your local economy. My own food stocks, my own water, my own waste system, my own energy. And then for my neighbors and stuff, how resilient is our little local economy to being besieged by these big corporations? And so that's the local economy side. And there's things you can move to very practically there. And then the third scale there is tribal institutions, right? So we, again, with liberalism, we're very individualized. The closest thing we have to tribalism is like sports teams, or yeah, that's about it really. But we are God created us to be tribal. What does that mean? It means my family, a group of other families, our children will marry each other. We are very interested in these other families' success. We are very interested in these other families' values and where they live and how they live. And so, for instance, like with the Bear community, with Nick Fuentes, with Gavin, like you can name a lot of kind of media influential guys who kind of have raised a flag, and then a tribe kind of builds around them of like, yes, we all have the same values, we all want to see the same vision, we have a positive vision, and even to the extent that we'd all like to kind of live around each other if that's possible, and we'd like all our children to marry each other if that's possible. What you are seeing is the formation of a tribe. That's a good thing. Tribes have leadership, tribes have institutions. And so what we see, so with America was founded by tribes. The Puritans were a tribe, if you want to call it that. There was like 120 families, and half of them died, and then half of them lived and carried on, and more people came. But that tribe had very specific interests, very specific values, that all their institutions that they built served their people. They didn't build Harvard to train the Indians in, economics and maritime law. They built Harvard as a Bible college for their people, so that their people might be saved and come to the knowledge of the Lord. That's why they started that institution. They didn't start a sheriff system, to to bless the slaves down in Georgia. It's like, no, they started a sheriff system to keep law and order in their little community in Massachusetts. Like, we have to understand, what is our tribe's area, who are our tribe's people, what are our tribe's values and interests. Every institution we build is to serve those people, that place, those interests. And then we need to build those institutions, because right now we think, oh, the police are our guys, the education system are our guys, America is our guys. And it's like, no, chaps, like, those institutions are all enemy run. Like, they've been subverted by other tribes. They are now controlled by other people, other tribes, other powers. They don't care about your interests. They don't care about your people. They don't care about your place. You have to build institutions that do that. And the reason we have to do that is because individuals always lose against institutions. So on the right, or conservatives or Christians, whatever you want to kind of identify as, we're so good at hey, you guys do what you want to do, just leave me alone. Like, as long as you leave me alone, libertarian 101, And it's like, and then we go in, we complain and we outrage, but as individuals, like, how dare CNN do this? How dare, name your outrage. But it's always like one individual guy or thousands of individual guys throwing little pebbles at big institutions. The institution doesn't care. The institution wins. The way you do this, an institution has to fight an institution. Or better yet, your institutions need to go and fight their individuals. That's how you win. So we need to build institutions, media institutions, churches, businesses, banks, or what do you call those things? Nonprofit organizations, all of these sort of associations and networks and things like that. We need those for our people, because those are the things, when we talk about NPCs, non-player characters, like normies, why are they normies? It's because they follow the cultural norms of the most powerful institution in their life. So majority of people watch TV. The most powerful institution in their life is the mainstream media. Why is it powerful? Because it can come and destroy them. And they know that, like, oh, if you say the R word or the N word or the say the wrong thing, or like, CNN will come to your house and destroy you. And they know it, because CNN has demonstrated that. So they toe the line and they follow the mainstream news. They are normies because they follow the cultural norms. So we have to fight not against the normies, because we get so angry at the normies. We get like, you retards, like, can you not think for yourself? And it's like, they, it's not their fault. They're just drones. They're following the power, so we need to build power so that we can capture as many normies onto our side as possible.